Rewind to early 2023. China had just lifted its zero COVID policy in January. European retailers were holding their breath. For 3 years, Chinese tourists, who once accounted for half of all luxury sales on the continent, had vanished. Galeries Lafayette, Printemps, Harrods, they'd learned to pivot. They courted Americans flush with strong dollars, lured cross-border European shoppers, capitalized on the UK's VAT decision. But as spring turned to summer in 2023, one question haunted boardrooms from Paris to Milan. Would Chinese customers return in time to save the next season? And if they did, would they even recognize the customers who left? Please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. Before we begin, a quick note. This conversation draws from our exclusive research conducted in June 2023, right as borders were reopening. Market conditions have evolved since then, but the strategic insights remain deeply relevant. Sylvain, you were tracking this story in real time. What were you hearing from the front lines that spring?
Panic, frankly. I spoke with a visual merchandising director in Paris who'd been reassigned entirely during lockdown. She told me her team had dismantled their entire Chinese welcome infrastructure. Translators reassigned, WeChat accounts dormant. Then January hits, borders open, and management expects her to flip a switch.
But it wasn't just personnel issues, right? The timeline itself was murky.
You're completely right, Maya. We were hearing everything from they'll flood back by summer to don't expect them until 2024. The reality? Passport offices in China had a 3-year backlog. Air France was running 6 weekly flights versus 30 pre-pandemic. Meanwhile, Hong Kong was literally giving away free airline tickets.
So proximity won.
Initially, yes. Thailand, Singapore, Japan, these weren't just closer. They were tactically aggressive. But here's what surprised me. On Xiaohongshu, Europe barely registered. Only London cracked the top 10 destinations between September 2022 and April 2023. Paris was 13th.
13th. That must have stung for Galeries Lafayette.
It lit a fire. But what's fascinating is who did show up. LVMH's CFO flagged a totally new breed of traveler, individuals, not tour groups. Wealthier, university-educated, digitally native. These weren't the customers who used to queue outside Louis Vuitton for an hour.
What were they after instead?
Experience over inventory. I interviewed a luxury consultant who described them as allergic to cliches. You couldn't just stock rabbit-shaped products for Lunar New Year anymore. They wanted wellness offerings, niche fragrance bars, Michelin-starred restaurants. 8 out of 10 said experiences mattered more than products.
So the old playbook, stock ultra-luxury handbags, hire Mandarin speakers, call it a day, that era was over.
Dead and buried. Retailers who understood this moved fast. Printemps overhauled its perfume bar. Galeries Lafayette opened a 2,800 square meter wellness gallery. El Corte Inglés installed the first Michelin-starred restaurant inside a department store.
Sylvain, what about the infrastructure, payments, CRM, logistics?
Well, that's where the real battle was fought. La Samaritaine deployed automatic tax-free kiosks. Bruninja launched B-spaces for hyper-curated product drops. But the smartest play? Central Thailand's unified loyalty system. You could earn points at La Rinascente in Milan, Illum in Copenhagen, Selfridges in London, all on one account.
Seamless cross-border recognition.
Yeah, that's right. And visibility mattered just as much. 60% of wealthy Chinese customers research products online before purchasing. Harrods launched branded stickers on WeChat. El Corte Inglés opened a Tmall store. You had to meet them where they were already looking.
Did anyone get it wrong? Any horror stories?
Plenty assumed visas weren't their problem until Italy undercut France on application fees and siphoned traffic to Milan. First country visited typically captures the biggest share of tourist spend. France learned that lesson the hard way.
Meanwhile, Hainan was quietly becoming China's domestic luxury paradise.
Their duty free sales doubled in 3 years. Prices rivaled Paris. Why endure a 12-hour flight when you can find Dior at competitive rates domestically? That was the existential question European retailers had to answer.
So the ones who thrived weren't just selling products, they were selling a reason to travel.
Correct. And that required rethinking everything, from the sales associate trained in cultural codes to the call partnerships on Xiaohongshu. It wasn't about being China ready anymore. It was about being indispensable.
Sylvan, that breakdown captures just how seismic this shift really was. Appreciate you walking us through it. Thanks to all our listeners for tuning into this episode of the IADS Retail Park. For deeper insights and exclusive reports, connect with us on LinkedIn, dive into our Substack archives, and explore more on our Websty. And for those hungry for the complete picture, Sylvan's full exclusive is available. You'll find the link waiting in the episode notes. Until next time.